Honey, I'm Carolyn King. I'm a member of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, and for this project I am the creator-founder of the Moccasin Identifier. We have been doing this program to create awareness and education about treaty lands and the people who live on those lands. When we look at our history here in this country, in this province, that so much of our story has been left out. We started with a digital dot, using technology to mark significant places of our people. Today we have a stenciling program where we target the school system. We have free curriculum online, grades 1 to 8 on the Ontario curriculum. It is helping the teachers teach in the classroom about our people. And we have a symbol that has been created, the moccasin design, and it is helping us in a fun, interactive way to tell the story. The 4 stencils we have in the kit are useful for the teachers to talk about Ontario, and they're used to identify the different linguistic groups in Ontario. The Cree in the north, which is the largest group, the Anishinaabe, kind of the rest of Ontario, and we as the Mississaugas are part of the Anishinaabe linguistic group. And we have the Huron-Wendat that are from Collingwood, north of Ontario, but they now live in Wendake, Quebec. And then in the south we have the Iroquois Haudenosaunee, where the six nations live. In our kit we have the Seneca stencil in there. So those 4 stencils can help you identify the people, and we'd be honored if you was to buy a stencil kit and to put it on your sidewalk or use it with your children to teach them about the First Nations Indigenous people of this province. You know, if you think about Google Maps, it has significant points of interest that you can go check out. Well, we would like to be one of those. That was the goal. Unfortunately, our funding run out for that digital dot, but one of the questions that came up when we were presenting the research about a site, the Catherine Sutton site up in Collingwood, that the question came from the floor. What will I see if I go there? If I don't have a camera, let alone a smart camera, which you have to use the technology to get the information. And I answered, nothing. It's remnant farmland, and today it's under a golf course. So they said, well, maybe you should consider a marker system, a plaquing system, so that all the people will be able to see what was there. And we said, okay, well, let's talk about that. In the discussions, it was that if you're having a plaquing system, you need to have a universal symbol. And our first thought was the eagle feather. And we said, no, that's too sacred to us. And they said, well, maybe the totems, the clan system, the deer, the bear, any one of our different clan systems. And I said, no, same thing. They're very sacred to us. And we wouldn't want people walking over them and not knowing what they are. So we said, no, can't use that. And I said, well, Carolyn, come up with something that will be universal and will help be the marker for the program. Went back to my office and I wrote on my whiteboard, what will identify us and connect us to the land? I went into work and read that every morning, and it shouldn't have taken me 3 days. And it just came to me. I just said, it's our footwear. And literally the idea was born at that moment. Our next connection was to go to the Bata Shoe Museum and to visit their collection of amazing footwear. They have a huge collection of Indigenous, and that we were able to, with our researcher, fill out with a story about the First Nations in Ontario and how they would be represented through moccasin design. And as we did that, and that's how we came up with the 4 stencils that we use today. I'll say that once we did research. Philip Cote has been a friend of ours. He's a well-known artist in the Toronto area. Does the murals, and he does a lot of teachings about the First Nations people, and he's connected to Moose Deer Point, and he give us the research, come up with the 4 designs, and did the drawings. And then it evolved to stenciling. And that's what we have today, an educational kit, we call it, toolkit, that you buy for $100 right now, and that you have 4 stencils. The curriculum is online, and you can take that information and do a teaching moment in the classroom. Just the way it turned out to be a stencil, it has linked us to the children. And that was the goal, to start over with this educational program, and we're starting over with the children. And maybe that whole, my belief is that we are going to start to change the world, and that the students of today will have learned something about the Indigenous people of this country.